So I started reading the Bible, marking it up, man, and I'm just finding stuff verse after verse after this and that. And I'm like, yo, we doing all type of stuff in Christianity backwards. So in the process of that, especially going through the New Testament, I came to the point where I'm finding, and then I got to the point where he was on the cross. And on the cross, I read the verse, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? That joint jammed me. So why is he saying now in the critical moment, right? Because that's when faith comes to the front, right? In the critical moment when you're supposed to show up with faith, this is when you show up with it. Now you're going to say, why hast thou forsaken me? And this is the message we got, right? So I said, if he's saying that, he didn't know his purpose. Because the purpose was to come die for us. Did he forget his own mission? Did he forget his own cause? So I said, you see my problem?
So let me help you with this apparent confusion. Jesus never said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Both Matthew 27:46 and Mark 15:34 says that at about the 9th hour, Jesus cried out with a loud voice saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And then halfway through both these verses, it says, which means, or that is to say, or which being translated is, my God, why have you forsaken me? When you read the 4 Gospels and the 7 sayings of Jesus on the cross, 6 of these statements and sayings were audible. They were clear and easy to translate. Read the Bible in any language translation. 6 of the 7 sayings of Jesus on the cross are translated into the language of that Bible. But only Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani has been recorded and written in the original verbatim language that Jesus spoke. Why is it that only Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani exists first in the original spoken language? So the original eyewitness authors of both Matthew and Mark, they heard what Jesus said at the cross. They did not understand what he said and what it meant. So they recorded what they heard verbatim. But the scribes, the writers, and the language translators of the various Bible versions attempted to interpret what Jesus meant when he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That's why the NIV Bible and certain other translations have this part of the verse in brackets. This was a footnote. In fact, the Bible tells us that when Jesus uttered this particular statement, the people by the cross were confused. They did not understand what he meant when he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. And so the scribes, the writers, and the language translators of the Bible searched the Old Testament to find any passage of Scripture that matched what Jesus was saying. And they came upon Psalm chapter 22 and verse 1. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani means, my God, why have you forsaken me? But that's not what Jesus said. Jesus said, Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani. In the recent years, certain Bible scholars have learned that this particular statement made by Jesus was spoken in the not so commonly understood northern dialect of Aramaic. And even more recently, it was discovered that a remote village in the Middle East both spoke and understood this dialect. And so a study and an evaluation of the northern dialect of Aramaic has given us the correct and the true meaning. And so I emphasize once again, when Jesus said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, He did not say, my God, why have you forsaken me? This most powerful of all the 7 sayings made by Jesus on the cross translates, listen to my heart. This is my destiny. It was a shout of victory.